something that you mentioned there now as we, take a step back and kind of position the group in context in terms of the industry, because you did mention that the group is one of the youngest players within the aviation ecosystem. You've mentioned that supply does drive demand. So there's a bit of context that we need to build about where the group is in context of the full industry. Now, to best understand that, we kind of have to look at the air travel industry itself and say, what are the trends and challenges that are currently there? You've got OEMs, facing their challenges. You've got the supply chain as well, fluctuations in travel. What trends and challenges are you most seeing today influence the industry?
Probably, first of all, since 1990s, except September 11 and COVID, from year to year, global fleet was growing. So basically means that people were traveling more. If we compare, so currently in the world we have 8.1 billion people, population, and 2024 we had 4.9 billion passengers. So it's effectively 0.6. If we go to the USA, we have close to 3 passengers per capita. But if we go to India, we have 190 million passengers per 1.5 billion population, which is what? 0.14, right? So it's a 20 times different. Passengers and holidays and overall mobility of the people is driven by the GDP and GDP per capita. The country becomes richer, people becomes richer, we can travel more. So in those 4.9 billion passengers, I don't know exact number, but it's not unique passengers. Some of them travel 20 times per year. Some of them travels 1 time per year. So basically, we're talking that still many people cannot afford to go for the holidays using air transportation. Still, many people cannot visiting their relatives and spending time in there and using flight services. If the global economy will be not heavily impacted by different geopolitical circumstances, this traffic will keep growing. OEMs, Boeing and Airbus predict that 2040 we will have on wing 40,000 aircraft, 40,000 plus. There are 2 numbers, 41,000 and 47,000. But we're using 40,000 plus, and currently we're at 26,000. So and it's basically again driven by the different countries' development and by the GDP. And mobility didn't disappear. But I will give you another important fact. Still, business passenger numbers-wise, did not come back to the pre-COVID level, while leisure passengers is already exceeding. Another probably important fact which keeps traffic not booming. I mean, during the COVID, number of the hotel rooms were reduced. Every year we had 390,000 new hotel rooms around the world entering the market. During the COVID, this number dropped below 300,000. So it's also linked metrics to the flights. So basically, people will keep flying. Business passengers became more efficient, and we are flying probably in some cases less on short hauls, but the same amount of long hauls. Seasonality did not disappear and would not disappear. It will be probably, I don't know, next 100 million years. And I see good prospect to provide services which brings efficiency to the airline companies. At the end of the day, people would not be overcharged because companies can add more seats and keep reasonable prices for the passengers.
You mentioned business travel there. One of the unique trends that's coming into it, and you mentioned that business travel hasn't really come back to what it was, but something unique that's happening is something they call blended travel, which is a mixture of business travel with leisure travel, where people are traveling to also then be able to spend time with family and friends. The future of business travel, private aviation, how do you see that developing over the next few decades?
We're sitting in one of the cities which combine leisure travel and business travel, right? So yeah, it's first of all comes from the services in the business destination. Yes, this trend is visible because life's still very dynamic, and from the businessmen like me, I have very little time, and in many cases I combine my leisure and my business trips. But business aviation is totally different segment. I mean, business aviation is drivers, others, and segments, and segment of the people which drive business aviation is different. What actually people realized during the COVID, that at the end of the day, small jets and medium jets, and to use for 6-8 persons, it's not so much expensive comparing to the business class, but you get getting additional services and flexibility when it comes to the flight. But we are very little touching business aviation. It's not our main services, and probably there are better experts who can explain about that industry.
So I want to bring it back now to passenger and cargo. Obviously, these are segments of the business that the group is focused in. When you look at the passenger industry, the passenger market, last year I had to confirm that the full 2024 passenger market was 3.8% above 2019 levels. When you look at cargo as well, it's been influenced by, return and fluctuation of belly capacity, as well as other factors such as e-commerce. How do you see passenger and cargo? Which segments of those do you see growing in the future?
So, I mean, we have two cargo aviation segments. First of all, we have narrow bodies cargo aviation segment, and it's very much, you rightly said, driven by the e-commerce, but it's very much impacted by the belly cargo. So as much aircraft we have on wing, as bigger belly cargo supply is available. Bearing in mind that historical, due to the low rates up to $2, many airline companies were not selling their belly cargo capacity. So basically, belly cargo capacity was uploaded around 50% around the globe. But when the prices increased, many companies realized that they should step to that market and to provide more belly capacity. So basically, if 100 belly capacity will be in the market, I mean, I don't see any growth of the traditional cargo aircraft, and I see I probably forecast decrease of the demand of the traditional cargo aircraft, because we have good frequencies, we have hubs, and belly cargo can easily be connected via different tools and platforms. It's a sustainable product for the integrators and buyers. When it comes to the wide bodies cargo capacity, it's a very cyclical business. In many cases, it's driven by pandemics, wars, economical wars, e-commerce, which is global, and currently we have Chinese e-commerce companies which wants to set up their businesses around different continents, and belly does not work here. You need dedicated cargo wide body aircraft, and due to the many circumstances, I mean, Boeing back to 2000, probably 16, 17, we said that we canceled production of cargo aircraft. And it was 747 line was just kept for the production of the Air Force One. And then we again renewed 747-800 production. Then we cancel again. So basically, wide bodies aircraft, due to the different cycles, was remaining in similar size of the fleet, around 600 aircraft. And this fleet is currently almost the same. So Boeing announced that they substitute 777 factory freighter to 777X, which will be produced 27, 28. Airbus announced that first time in the history we will produce 350 cargo aircraft. So basically, last 6-7 years mentioned reasons impact that OEMs came back to the wide bodies aircraft production as well. But meanwhile, we have several licenses for the passenger conversion to the cargo, and I think it's, again, if there will be oversupply, market will drop. If there will be some additional circumstances, I mean, somebody wants to conquer the world, somebody wants to dominate, somebody wants to set up the footprint using wide bodies cargo capacity, it will be demand. So basically, it's very dynamic and cyclical business, wide bodies cargo aircraft. We have in our fleet some of them, but we're not betting that is our main core business. We want to concentrate on the commercial aviation, and we want to be in narrow bodies business. And we're talking that our addressable market is currently 1,500 aircraft across the globe, and it's enough for us work to do to reach 700 aircraft.